My name is Jennifer McCune. Super excited to be coming to you representing Mompreneur Next Door to you today. And I love this platform. We have so many fantastic moms who come and share their inspirational stories of what it's like for them to be a mom and start their own business. And the majority of us moms can really sympathize. We want to be able to be with our kids. We want to make money. We want to be able to make money, and we want to have that flexibility too, but it's really, really hard. And it's not necessarily easier as the kids get older. So I meet all these incredible moms and like to share their stories and like them to share their stories and what it looks like to hopefully inspire and support some of you who are thinking of doing something. So today's guest, Shatara Weaver, and I met through a connection on LinkedIn. So I connected with Shatara's sister, and I was telling her about Mompreneur Next Door, and she's like, you have got to talk to my sister. She's amazing. She's done all these incredible things. She's a mom. She started her own business. So Shatara, thank you so much. And it's funny because you're like an hour away from me. You're in Richmond,
Right.
Virginia. I'm in Charlottesville. We had to have your sister introduce us via
Right.
LinkedIn. I love it. And your story is really interesting because, like a lot of mompreneurs, you probably would have never envisioned yourself doing what you're doing based on your background. So why don't you start off and tell us a little bit more what you were doing before you started your business?
All right. Yeah. So thank you so much for having me on today. This is really exciting. So I actually have my background is in chemical engineering. So I have a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in chemical engineering. And I also have a master's in agricultural economics and an MBA. So I actually worked in manufacturing for over 10 years. And in that, I had an opportunity to do so many roles. I was able to be a part of supply chain management, engineering, of course, production planning, procurement. I had so many different roles, and it really prepared me, I think, to actually go out on this journey. But it sounds a little bit different when you start to think about where I am now. But it was just really amazing. I had a chance to really gain some skills and learn a lot about myself, my drive and my flexibility to try new things and my excitement for learning. And so I think it really prepared me to go into embroidery, even though that sounds totally different from engineering.
So let's talk about that. So I'm sorry, you said a lot of words that I'm like, okay, bleep, bleep, bleep. I heard engineering, I heard MBA, and then I heard embroidery. So can
Right.
you please take us through what that looked like, how you got from engineering and MBA and procurement to embroidery? That's really
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. So when you really think about embroidery, at its very core, it's about problem solving. And what's the thing that an engineer loves to do? Solve a problem,
Oh,
especially tough problems, right?
okay.
So there really is a connection there. But I actually got into embroidery because I wanted to make something really sweet and unique for my goddaughters for Christmas one year. And I started to look at tutus, and I picked up a sewing machine and started sewing tutus for them. And then I had friends that inquired about tutus. And when I looked on the internet at different options that you would put with a tutu, I noticed that people made embroidered shirts and would make an outfit. So I said, maybe I'll try that. Trial and error. That's my thing. I love to experiment. I love to try new things. So I picked up an embroidery machine and went through trial and error and finally figured out how to make an embroidered shirt and started making outfits for my friends. And then later on, I had someone ask me, okay, well, if you can embroider a shirt with a really cute saying, can you do a logo? And I said, well, I don't know, maybe. So I gave it a try, another experiment for myself, which I love, and it worked out. And from that, that's how I started my business called God Mama Wear LLC, and it's named for my goddaughters. I'm their godmama, and they are the inspiration behind my brand.
Oh, how lovely. Now,
Yeah,
I want to repeat that. God Mama Wear LLC.
that is correct.
That is so great. So throughout all of that, were you still working while you were doing that? when
I
it started?
was. So I started it about 3 years ago, my business, and I was working during that time. And even during that time, I had changed roles to different things. And the last role that I filled before I went full time into my business this year um, was a really intense role. And it took me overseas. I worked with colleagues overseas.
Wow.
So I had to do a lot of the work for my embroidery business and building that at night while I was working during the day with manufacturing. But I think it was really great because it really taught me a lot about supply chain, which are, business. Those are the things that you need to understand for, as working as an entrepreneur. So it was a good.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but throughout, I'm just trying to envision this in my head. You're working full time, you're traveling overseas, and you have a son. How old is your son?
He's 4. He's a
So
4.
he's been alive since you've been building this.
Yes, yes. He was 1 when I officially started the business.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, how did you even manage to do that? I think this is a big challenge for a lot of women and moms who want to start their own businesses. They're like, okay, I don't have room for anything. I feel like I work full time, I come home, hang out with the kid. When they go to bed, I got to do laundry and cooking, cleaning the house, and I have to have a couple minutes to myself. So, how did you make that work, Shatara?
There were a lot of late nights. So I'll be honest, there were a lot
Yeah.
of late nights. Um, there, and it was really important for me to have family. So
Hmm.
you mentioned my sister before, and my mother and my father, and just our family was really, really important, so that I could travel when I needed to travel for work, or I could, if I needed some extra time to work on an embroidery project at night. I had someone that would also be able to help me with my son, because he also, needed a lot of time. But that's a very real thing. I mean, it was not easy to do all of that. And so it's been really great. Earlier this year, around February, I officially moved full time into this business, which gave me a bit more time. But you know what? One of the things that I found out was, hey, I mean, you end up filling that time with
Exactly.
other things,
Yes,
so it's still super
absolutely.
busy.
Was
But you
that
can figure it out.
absolutely? And was it scary to make that transition?
Super scary. I think every day you think about it as well. I mean, I know there are sometimes I'm going, whoa, what am I doing? And then there are other times I go, wow, look what I'm doing.
Yes,
You know,
yes, yes.
so
Did
that's
you
how.
ever read Mel Robbins or hear about anything of her?
No, tell me more.
So she has this thing called the 5 second rule, and it's a book and lots of videos. And one thing that she talks about is anxiety and excitement both feel the same. Your body has the same manifestation,
Wow.
rapid heartbeat, adrenaline rush.
Right.
The main difference is a mindset. So are you excited about it
Ah,
or are you anxious about it? And you just encapsulated that all in one, where you're like, holy crap, what did I do? Or,
right.
oh my gosh, look at what I'm doing,
Exactly. So
right?
that's so right.
Yeah, it's mindset. It's mindset. And I love what you
Yeah.
said. I want to go back for this a second. One thing is, moms, sometimes we're not great at asking for help. And that's our biggest
Yes.
downfall, right? And so I think you're so wise that you're like, I'm going to use my support system. I know I can do this, but I may not be able to do it alone. So that's okay. I have people who love me and care about me, and
Yes.
I'm going to ask for help while I do this. So I think
So true.
you're so wise to do that. So let's talk about the reality of what has been so great
Yeah.
since you have been doing your own business. You did it while you were working full time, then you made the transition. Tell us all the amazing things about being your own boss.
Oh man, the flexibility, I'd
Yeah,
have to say, being able to create your own schedule, being able to, and whether that schedule is for working on your projects, managing your business, or just spending time with family,
yeah,
spending time with my son. I mean, that has just been major, because I do remember times when I had to come home, rush from work, pick
yes,
up my son, get us home, make dinner, feed him, get him
yep,
in the bed, and then I had a call. because I needed to meet with some colleagues overseas, and there was a 12-hour time difference. So you didn't get a chance to really spend the time that you wanted to with your baby.
Right.
So it's been great because I've really had more time with my little guy. We've had an opportunity to do so many things this summer, including going to see the monster trucks, which he loved.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. So that's really been great, and being able to really just chart my own path,
Mhm.
really, figure out where I wanted to go and build something that was nothing at first, and to actually see it start to flourish. It's been,
Right. That's wonderful. That's so wonderful. So I know time flexibility, I think, is a big one for a lot of us. I
yes.
know that you've probably experienced some challenges,
Yeah.
and I think the challenges are the scary unknown are a lot of what holds people back from starting their own thing. So just be real and share what that has been for you, if you don't mind.
Yeah, I think time management is something that I continue to work on, to be
Hmm.
honest,
Hmm.
because it's constant. It's something that's kind of trial and error. I've tried several different ways to figure out what works best for me. And it really is about what works best for you.
Hmm.
I am the type of person that loves to plan.
Hmm.
So I have been that person that has written down, okay, 9 to 10, I'm doing this. 10 to 12, I'm doing this. 12 to 1, we're eating lunch. so
Yeah. Yeah.
so then there are times when I've gotten frustrated
Yeah.
because I didn't attack all of those things that I thought I should be getting done that day. So I've actually,
Or the kid gets sick or the
right,
kid whatever. Like we
that's
cannot
right.
control everything as moms, and it's
That's
like,
absolutely
oh
right. That is so true. It has
yeah,
happened more than once. And then even family matters.
yeah,
I have a grandmother who recently fell sick, and we've had to figure out how to um, um, fit that in as well, because someone has to be with her 24
yeah,
hours.
yeah, yeah.
So those are some things that you can't really think about possibly happening, but it does impact your business and impacts your life, and can impact your time. So what I've kind of transitioned to doing, because again, I'm about experimentation. So I've transitioned to, instead of me having that daily schedule that I then feel overwhelmed because I didn't hit every single thing that I thought I would hit that day, I've transitioned to a weekly schedule. Hey, here are some of the top things that I feel like I need to finish this week. These are the orders that I need to finish. These are the invoices that I need to get out. This is the time that I need to spend with my son. You
Right,
know,
right,
really important
right.
to set some boundaries around, what you're doing and what you're doing when. So
Absolutely.
it's been super important for me when I think about time management as well, managing my business, but also making sure that I have the time with my son. So
Yes.
when we get home and it's time for dinner, that's our time the rest of the night until I put him to bed. So super important.
I laugh because not laugh. I'm smiling because I think that's another commonality with entrepreneurs is that we're overachievers and workaholics. And the
Yes.
irony is we're doing this to spend more time with our families. And many of us, when we start, spend less time with our families because we're so
Yeah.
focused on working. And so to schedule those hours of non-operation, dinner time, family time, so important. It took me way
Yeah.
too long to figure that one out. So I'm glad that you figured that out.
Okay, it's still, it's really, it's real. It's
Yeah,
something that you don't even think about, and it's so funny that you said that, because it is this kind of, you know interesting dynamic. The very thing that you're trying to do is the
yes,
very thing that you end up putting last, and so
exactly. The
yeah, so it's so
irony of
important.
it.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, so many women out there are looking to do something. If you had a piece of advice for them or looking at yourself a few years ago, what would that look like?
Go for it. Go for it. I think it's easy to talk yourself out of doing something, because even though it may not be, um, you may not think that the space that you're in, that you feel comfortable, but you really do feel comfortable when you start to think about, hey, I'm going to try to do something that may fail or it may flourish. All I can say is that you have to just step out there and see. I mean, there are going to be times when you're thinking, maybe, I mean, did I do the right thing? But I do think that it is something that you have to experience and something that you have to try. Again, with the experimentation, you've got to try it, because if
Yeah,
you never try it, you'll never know. And
exactly.
you'll always have that feeling inside of, should I have done it? And I
Right.
always say that I feel like you'll know when it's time for you to step out and do something, when it's time for you to step out and go full time into your business if you're working in corporate America right now. So just be open to the universe, I think, and then just be, aware, and thinking of it, and understanding when you get that feeling that it's time, it's probably time, and just go out there and try and go for it.
Did people think you were crazy
Yeah.
going from this solid job with an MBA that you had the world set and now you're going to leave and do this cute little embroidery thing? Did people,
Yes.
yeah. So I
Yes.
think that's a big, hard thing for a lot of people. So I'm in direct sales, and of course, that can get, I think any entrepreneurship, I don't think it's just direct sales.
Huh.
I think any entrepreneurship, people are like, you're going to do what?
Right.
And I think for some people, so when you say just go for it, I think what other people tell you and what other people think matters a lot and holds certain people back. So, how did you move beyond
Yeah.
people being like, you're going to do what?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. For me, I had this strong support system within my family,
Hmm.
and they believed that I could do it, and that helped me to believe that I could do it too. You know, the other thing that I think people often forget about is, okay, say you give this a try and it doesn't work out. There's probably another job out there for you somewhere. you know
Yeah.
Like, so if that's the thing that's holding you back, that you may fail, and you're wondering if you'll get this other great opportunity that you had before, I'm telling you, you are. you
Hmm.
know if you have this entrepreneurial mentality, that you have this drive to go out and do something, you have the same drive, and people are going to want that in their business. So um, that's why I say, hey, take the opportunity when the time is right, and take that dive, because the only thing holding you back is thinking there might not be a job there, and there will.
Right.
We're,
Right.
they're looking for people like you.
Good
There's
point.
what you want in the business. So
No, that's a very good point. And I think that's helpful for people to hear that the fear of failure, the fear of what other people are going to think holding you back, but give it a shot. And worst case scenario is, yeah, find another job someday. So that's
but I
fantastic.
believe you're going to do amazing things, and it's going to
Exactly.
go well.
Exactly. 100%. So, God Mama Wear LLC, how do people find you if they want to, look you up and see some of your cute stuff? And,
Sure. So I can be found on Instagram at God Mama Wear.
mhm.
I'm also on Facebook at God Mama Wear LLC. My
Uh,
website is www.godmamawear.com. So www.godmamawear.com. So you can find me on any of those platforms. And you can also catch me on Gmail at godmamawear@gmail.com.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for your time. I so appreciate it. And I'm glad to get to know you too.
Thank you so much. This has been so great. I really appreciate it.